Well, hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday. We have fat in other parts of the body. We need fat in order to function correctly, but it's got to be the right fat. There's a little bit of fat in navy beans. There's some fat in an avocado. There's some fat in the whole milk that we should be drinking, and those things will be very powerful and very good for us to keep the brain health correct. And then these other things you see here, on here, not to put any fear in anybody. I didn't tell the story about the lady having a heart attack to put fear in anybody. That's not the way I roll. I'm not, you go back and you look at my shows, I'm not the person that's pushing this fear factor. I'm pushing knowledge. I'm pushing wisdom. I'm pushing into understanding, I hope, so that we all can do something every day, be on the grind of health, right? A lot of us are working from home. We're still trying to do things to make it because we have to. I understand that. But we also should be on a grind of having the best health that we can have. Right now, right during this thing, if you have medical problems, you should be working on getting rid of those medical problems. Because as you do the work to get rid of a medical problem, your immune system is getting stronger. Your whole body is getting in a better place to decrease the possibility of anything like this happening. And then, God allow us to get this infection. We have to be prepared to fight, because I know some people that didn't have it as bad as Brother Gerald, but Brother Gerald was going through it. And it was a struggle, and he made it. So we're thankful, and I think we're strengthened from his story. But we have to be strengthened into activity and action, right? So let's make sure we're doing that. Is relative to its power, right? So listen to a couple of these things. The Earth rotates at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, right? Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. And sound travels at 1,120 feet per second. 1,120 feet per second. All those things are fast. But did you all know that the mind and the thoughts that it produces travel at an average of 24 billion miles per second? Let that sink in, right? So that's a whole lot faster than 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, which this Earth is spinning, right? And most of us have never been that fast on top of the Earth. We're traveling that fast right now. We don't really feel it, but in a plane or in the fastest car you haven't been anywhere close to that, right? 186,000 miles per second, 1,120 feet per second. And so when we're talking about thought and the reality of thought and the power of thought to say, I'm not going to get sick. But right, that thought and that idea can't come and then nothing back it. So that's the main thing that I'm getting across today, is the thought, the power, right? That 24 billion miles per second is average. How many of you look in the mirror and call yourself average? I don't consider myself average. But even if I am average and my 24 billion miles per second can produce some reality, that's how powerful these thoughts are. My powerful thoughts have said, I'm not going to get sick. And I've been saying that since 2004. That's the last time I was sick, right? But again, I have these activities that I'm doing every day to make sure that I don't get sick. Taking sea moss, taking black seed oil, they're taking vitamin C from whatever source they are. You heard Reza say the other day that he takes lysosomal vitamin C. And again, I'm not knocking any of these products. I don't have a problem with these products if that's what you're doing. Some people are doing elderberry. Some people are doing other types of supplements. The thing that I want you to understand is the human body has a very specific way that it does things. And when we start doing too many things, your body can go in confusion, because every time you put something in the human body, even when it has a benefit, there's some negativity to it. There has to be some toxicity. The Honorable Muhammad said in How to Eat to Live that even good foods have some toxicity in them. So if a good food has some toxicity in it, then that sea moss does, that elderberry tablet does, that vitamin C tablet that you're taking does, the elderberry extract that you're doing, all of those things have some toxin in it as well. So whatever you do and whatever you're comfortable with, make up your mind that that's what you're going to do, and then stick with that plan. Don't go and do a whole bunch of different things and changing from this because you heard somebody say that. If you're down with black seed oil and you're doing sea moss and you're doing some elderberry, and those are the things that you have confidence in, then stick with those things, and then make your food right, get your activity, your exercise, and get your sunshine, and stick with that and have confidence at it, and have that 24 or more billion miles per second of thoughts to put in your soul, in your mind, in your spirit that I'm going to be okay. This is going to get me through these times. Okay. And so I wanted to make that real clear. And so I just want to show something really quick. The quick and short answer to that is that if you are taking steroids, you're pretty much going to eliminate your immune system, because it pretty much shuts down the whole system. It is steroids work in a way that don't allow the body to do the things that it needs to do. Let's see if I can find this. I think it's this one. So I pray that you all can see this. It's kind of a small slide, but I wanted to use this as an example. If you look there in the middle, it just says corticosteroids. That's just a medical name for steroids. And you can look up there, it says inflammatory cells. It decreases the number and decreases apoptosis. It decreases cytokines. Cytokines would be the immune boosting supplement. That's the category in the human body of what the immune boosting supplement will be. It's a part of the cytokine system, right? And so you see here, it decreases the numbers of the macrophages and the mast cells, the cytokines, and it decreases the mediators. And so if you are the type of person that's in the type of health where you are taking a steroid, I wouldn't suggest you take the immune boosting supplement, because I really think that you would be wasting your money. See, I'm just not going to lie for money. The reality is that if you are on steroids and you want to get off of the steroids to give yourself a better chance of making it through the times that we're living in right now, you're going to have to reach out to me, because I'd have to do more research into what's going on with you, why they put you on steroids. I've been very successful getting people off of steroids. It takes work. But the only way that I would sell a person the immune boosting supplement if they were on steroids is if they were going in the direction of going in a tapering manner of getting off of the steroids. And then I would put them on the immune booster to help boost that immune system very quickly after we get those steroids out of the system. But as you can see right here on this slide, if you're taking steroids, you're pretty much shutting down the entire immune system. I want you all to pay attention if you're watching television. I don't watch a lot of television, but Saturday I just decided to have a chill day. I just sat at the house. Wife and I watched a few movies, and she was, wondering what was going on with me, because I was walking up to the TV and I was taping these commercials. Because I was gonna post some of these commercials and make some commentary. Found out that I can't do that legally, so I'm not gonna do that, but I can talk about these commercials. You go watch the commercial when I'm talking about those commercials when they talk about medications. So they talk about the medication and what the medical problem is, and then they start talking about what the medication will do to try to help you. And then they start talking about if you've traveled, if you've had an immunization, or if you've ever had an infection, or if you plan on going out of the country, or if you plan on this, because these medications have steroids in them. That's the only way that they can do this. The explanations that they're giving of what can happen to you and what can happen if you take this medication are all associated with a very weak immune system. We got to be careful, brothers and sisters. We are in a time where these pharmaceutical companies are pretty much not untouchable. They have bought and sold the senators and anybody in the government, so that if they wind up causing problems with these medications, they already have clauses in these things that will exonerate them. You cannot trust. The minister said it. He said Africa. He was talking to all of us. We cannot trust their medications. We can't trust their vaccines. You can't trust their swabs on the test that they're saying. We cannot trust this medical industry. I don't care how many black faces you see in there. Yes, those black faces probably care more. Yes, those black faces probably have a better meaning to what they're doing than some other people. It's just proof. It's proof that if your doctor looks like you, that's more than likely where you're going to get the best care. That's scientific. That's not racism. That's science. They've proven this over and over and over again. But it's a system that I used to be a part of. So I know how brainwashed I was when I was in that system. And I'm not trying to put any of my brothers and sisters down that are out there in the medical field. But the reality is that the medical field has not, to date, January, whatever today's date is, what's the 28th of 2020 has not proved that it has done any good for us, period. You can't live your whole life taking medications and die with those same problems and then say that the medical industry that you were a part of did you any good. It's just not, that's not an accurate conclusion, right? That's an inaccurate conclusion. And so that's the answer to the person that asked me about steroids and immune booster. No, I don't think they should be taken together because I think it would be a waste of time. We talked about recovery after infection. We talked about that already with Brother Gerald, but if you are a person that's going through this, you're fighting it, you believe you're going to get over it, you have to have that in your mind. Just understand, be patient with yourself after you finish with the fevers and all that, because it's a little longer convalescent period than I've seen in other medical problems when it comes to viral and infections. And I wanted to clarify, on the last show when I was talking about an antigen, I was describing an antigen, and I used the example like if somebody were to break in here while I'm doing this show and I do whatever I do to them. When a virus breaks into a cell of a human body, it is trying to replicate itself. So it's going to use the available resources. Like if somebody were to break into your house or just come into your house, if they asked or whatever the case may be, and they say, can I go in your refrigerator and get some food? I'm hungry. Can I use your shower because I'm dirty? Can I use your bed because I'm tired? That would be realistic to think that somebody that came in your house would want those things. And so a virus plasmid or a virus particle, when it comes into the body, that's what it does. It comes into our cells and starts using the stuff in our cell to reproduce itself. And so that's why I use the explanation of a clone, right? And so when the body is showing the rest of the body what it needs to be aware of, it would be like if somebody came in my house, in this house while I'm doing this, and I did whatever I'm going to do to survive, and then I come and put them in front of here, or take them around and show them to everybody that I know. Hey, this is what it looks like. This is what the person that's breaking in people's homes looks like. So everybody will be aware. That's what an antigen in the human body, that's what the process is. The body's going to attack it, break it down, and then show to the rest of the cells, the rest of the organs of the body, hey, look, this is what you need to be aware of. This is what we're fighting. This is what has invaded us. And that's how the body boosts itself to make sure it's watching, like I've discussed before about those security guards, right? And so I just wanted to say that. The statement last week that somebody mentioned about the blue zones of this country and the blue zones of the world. So I think there are a couple in Japan, one in China, there's one in Loma Linda, California. I think there's one somewhere in Minnesota, Canada. There are just a few places. I think there are a couple in Africa as well. There are a few places where people supposedly live longer than other people. And the person was saying that oregano seems to be the commonality. Well, there's a book that I read called Conquest of Death, and I can't even find it anymore. But it is a book that described a physician that went around the world to try to find old people. And as he was going around the world, he went to India. I think it was India. And there was a woman who was a date farmer. When he approached this woman who was a date farmer, he said that he would compare her to what it looked like a 40-year-old in America. The woman was 180, I think 180 when he met her. She was a date farmer, a poor person. So during the time of the year when the dates were in abundance, the date farm owner would give the date pickers dates as part of their dietary intake. But during the time of the year where there were no dates, she wasn't eating much. She was going on like 60-day fast or 90 days and didn't have any food. And in one of her 90-day fasts, she grew a third set of teeth. Now, I'm sure some people are like, man, this man is crazy. Yeah, I am crazy because I don't allow the typical ideology that I was taught in medical school to keep me in that box. That book that I read was amazing. And the thing that was consistent through that book was fasting. People were getting major medical problems resolved and major issues in their body recovered through fasting. And so, yeah, the blue zone have some things that are common in all of them. And I learned from the person that mentioned that last night. I think it was, I can't remember who it was. I'm not going to say. I don't remember who it was, but the person that mentioned the oregano, that may be something that's common, but also the thing that is common in these areas of the world where people are living a long time, it's long periods of time in between meals, which is very consistent with how to eat to live. Okay. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's put this in perspective, right? We're at 16 million people that have been infected. We have approximately 7.5 billion people on the planet. So in context of the population of the planet, that's still a small percentage. But if you get a chance to look at the worldometer, you know, I think I have a benefit in that. I have a engineering friend, my friend David Tonsall, who has posted like some screenshots that he took in March, and then he took some more in other times. So I've been able to go back and make these comparisons. And the rise in America in March into April is like, let's say, for instance, that was the rise. It's not accurate, but I'm just using an example. If the rise was that in March and April, the rise now is more like this. The rise is much more exponential. And so I think, based on just what I'm seeing, and then before that, what the minister said, that this is going to get a lot worse. I'm expecting things to get horrible. I'm expecting things to be, I'm expecting these numbers to get really bad. And I unfortunately said that a while back, because just the way, especially in this country, where I thought the information coming from the so-called government was just ridiculous. They never had any unified effort and gave the public any good information. Like I said, you know, when you're driving around and you're seeing people wearing masks, and you see people wearing gloves in their car, in the store, back in their car, that's an ignorance. That we shouldn't fault those people. We should fault the people that are in the position that should be educating these people. And so because of the lack of information, and because of just a lot of people, I think, still out here that are not taking it serious, I think we're going to have a lot. I can't predict anything. I can't say anything specific, but I pray that we all are able to make it through. And I actually don't know the name of the author, because it was produced by a society. And then the other book was Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. The other one was Conquest of Death. What I'm going to do probably on one of the next shows is I'll try to bring the book and show it to you. And maybe as a group of brothers and sisters, we can go on a quest to try to find this book. We'll probably have to find it at places like Half Price Books, or maybe even, you know, some other places that sell used books, but it's not in print anymore, and it's pretty difficult to find. But it is an excellent read. I read it probably about 3 or 4 years after I really started to get into How to Eat to Live, and it was amazing in the confidence and the way it opened up my mind to not believe there are any restrictions, to not believe that there's anything that this body can't heal. After reading that book, I was absolutely convinced. The only thing that I'm waiting to do right now is to prove that with somebody that has cancer. And if God says the same, I'm in that process right now. But every other medical problem, every other system of medical problems, I've already seen it happen. So that book freed me from any limitations. There is no box, no octagon, no circle, no nothing that could put me back in any type of restrictions ever again. That's what that book did for me. So it is an amazing book. Does boosting immune system status help allergy sufferers during COVID-19? That's actually a very good question. I would say that when a person has allergies, that is a good immune system. That is your immune system doing its job. It's trying to flush stuff out. It's coughing, sneezing, runny eyes, itchiness, all that. Those are the signs that your immune system is doing a good job and trying to get this crap out of your body that doesn't need to be in there. So I would say a person that has seasonal allergies, until you start taking those medications and steroids and all that kind of stuff, your immune system was doing what it was supposed to do. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Renelle Burden Muhammad. It would be really wonderful if we had the Ultimate Wellness Group book club. The first book we read could be Medical Apartheid. Erica Perez, look at you with that good idea. All right. Well, there you go. Erica Perez put something out there. Y'all let me know. Do you want to have a book club? And we will read some of the books that we agree to, or if you all want me to make the suggestions of what we should read, that will help us and get our knowledge up. I'm with it. I'm really with it. That would be good, because I actually told myself, Sister Erica, just a couple of months ago that I was going to go back and read all these books again, because it's been a few years since I've read them all. I read How to Eat to Live every year, but those books I don't read every year, but I need to pick them back up to kind of see what my viewpoint will be at a book at this point in my stage of growth. So it looks like there are enough people that are saying yes to the book club. How about we start with medical apartheid? But I'm going to tell y'all right now, as big as our vocabulary is, we're going to have to make that book August and September. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by the next show. I will look at how many days are in August, how many days are in September, and however many number of days there is, and however many number of books are in her, how many number of pages are in her book, we'll break it down to how many pages we're going to read a day, right? So we can take our time, read it, understand the words, and then we can have a short section of discussion on the shows. We'll discuss what we read, what was the reality, what of those of us have experienced some of that, and then maybe some of you all will come on the show. Some of you all that are in the medical field, or some of you that have seen something like that happen in your family, or maybe some of you may know somebody that was in the Tuskegee experiment, or maybe some of you know some of the people that were in the prisons in the 40s and the 50s in Philadelphia that had all those skin tests done on them. So let's get into it. Y'all let me know if that sounds like a good idea. So here you go. Selenium, very important in our immune system being strong. And you can see there it says 12 foods rich in selenium: bananas, kiwi. I'm only going to mention the ones, let me not say that. You guys can see the thing, but grapefruit. That's where you can get a lot of your quinine, right? And those mulberries or any type of the berries, they all have selenium in them. You can get a lot of the zinc and a lot of other things are in them. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in How to Eat to Live that we could eat all fruits, eat as much fruit as you like. Just make sure that they have seeds in them in 2020, okay? So if you need to boost your selenium, this is where I was suggested. And Sister Queen Serene, this is what I was mentioning earlier. Yes, you can go and you can buy a product in an herbal store or some other place that has selenium in it, but the best place that God put it is in the food. So that's kind of where I come from a basis of How to Eat to Live. I like to go to the foods, and that's why I'm showing these last slides, so that if anybody that has listened to me over the last however long they've been listening to me over, especially over the last few months since we've been dealing with this coronavirus, I am going to show slides of foods that have these things that we need to boost our immune system, okay? So again, another reason why we should be eating our zinc. Look at those fruits on there, right? I'll just let you all go on there. You can also go and do the research yourself, but we should be eating fruits on a regular basis in a time like we're in, because that's going to be probably the best food, second to bean soup and that whole milk, to boosting the immune system. Your fruits are going to be the best foods that you can put in your body. So there you see 15 zinc rich fruits. So again, go and do your own research and look at those fruits, and let's start. Okay, if that's the argument you want to use, then how the hell did they get it in that substance in that bottle that you take? Don't bring that to a scientist, right? So when we're going to scientifically evaluate something, there is nothing that a man can make that can beat what God made. And that fruit tree and that plant that the food is coming off of, or that we're digging out of the ground, has to be a better process than anything they do in the laboratory. I'll go with that any day. And I hope you understand why. But until next week, you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I pray that you are inspired to work hard. I pray that everybody is safe and sound, and that you continue to work on your righteousness, continue putting God in your life first, so that we can all make it out of this. And when we get through this situation, we'll be better than when we came in. So thank you again. You all have a wonderful rest of your night. And thank you again for coming and spending your time. Peace.